Me.
The Great Mighty Pooh from Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, I already started recording. I'll just cut
Ah,
out all that stuff.
yeah.
Did you do the intro last time, or I
I
did?
think whatever you do it
I
because
think.
I'm probably.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay. Okay. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the A&E show. We're here to talk about foot golf. Last episode, we talked about soccer, its history, current leagues and cups, and the World Cup coming up. And so we thought it would be interesting to talk about another sport that is similar but a little bit different. And it's something that Angelo has been talking to me about for a little bit, for a while, and he's developed an interest and even is starting his own um, league. What was it
Club.
club?
Um,
Okay, starting his own club.
yeah.
And
Uh,
I bought the sheet for the podcast, so everything's all clean and
hunky dory.
semi-professional. Yeah, hunky dory, hunky dory. So welcome to the podcast, and
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
let's get started.
yeah.
Angelo,
Today's
any opening statement?
episode. Yeah, today's episode is more about foot golf, the history, how I got an interest to it, and like what I've been doing at the moment, and the current events that's going on in this sport. So basically, like this new sport started in like 2008, like the first official foot golf tournament in Netherlands. Um, it was invented by not invented, but more like refounded or remodeled by the Corson brothers. He used to be an ex soccer player, football player, however you want to call him, William Corsham, and that basically in that time was basically just hitting the ball. How he developed the whole sport was basically kicking the ball from one side of the pitch to the other side of the pitch for just to, and be like, hey, I'm gonna hit that tree in 3 strokes or hit that garbage bin or whatever. And then I know that just became more organized and more professional. That now you start seeing tournament, the World Cup. Now they're trying to get it into the Olympics, and I think, to be honest, it's going to be in 2024 in Paris that they're trying to get it into a official Olympic sport, which is pretty cool. So 2008 is fairly new, but if you actually look into the history, they actually had something like that called cold ball. That's in the late 1920s, 1930s, and they had different variation throughout the years. But foot golf as a whole, when this new name and remodeled, is from 2008, so about 11 years now. And in 2011, the American Foot Golf League that I am in with one of my clubs, which is called Skyline Foot Golf Club. It supports the New Jersey and New York. Founded this year, January. And I have a more local club for events and kind of like sponsorships, team bonding events for soccer players and clubs, and that's Long Island Foot Golf Club. Um, but going back with the whole foot golf, it's foot with golf, so it's like soccer and golf created a baby. Um, you had the soccer ball. The holes are just big enough, for like 22 inches, just for the ball to go in. It'd be
I
physically
thought
impossible.
the I thought they were 21 inches.
21 inches, sorry. Um, it's just enough for the size. So the ball is size 5, so just enough for that ball to go in. Um, and it's
So like relative to golf, it'd
yeah,
be the same.
same rules apply. Whoever has the fewest strokes wins. Um, and majority of the same golf rules apply to this golf. The only thing is different. It's a soccer ball. You don't need 10 different clubs or whatever how many clubs you need, and you just need a soccer ball, turfs, and then even the outfit of golf players are the same for foot golf.
Yeah.
So,
All you need is cleats too for
well,
in or outdoor soccer.
so with turf, you have to use turfs. Like those are the cleats that are allowed to use, because if you wear regular cleat, you could actually like destroy the pitch or the course, which no
Oh,
one wants that.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you have 20, 100 people, like I like this end of this month in May 22nd to May 27th, I'm going down to Florida for the U.S. Open, and there's over 100 foot golfers going to be at this event, and I'm versing the number one in the world, Ben Clark, and also top player Mateus Perron, um, Sophie Parker, as well as just high class players as well. I'm fairly new to this sport. It's my second year playing, and just playing constantly once a week. Just I've been improving the game. Now I'm start reading the course on like the divots, the hills, how much power I need to put on the ball. And like a lot of people, it's like, oh, you play soccer, you'd be into this is like easy sport. No, it's not. And I wish, but it's not. It's in soccer, you can make a bad pass while you have the other players running to the ball. That
Yeah.
hole is not moving if you're making a bad pass.
Yeah, there's no like improvisation. I guess it's hyper focused, just like golf is.
Yeah.
And like if you're, I'm interested in like, because I know whenever you played soccer, you'd always try to tell me like, Evan, kicking with the outside of your foot or the inside, changes
Hmm.
the, the
The curve, the path, like
trajectory and the
yeah.
curve, yeah, of the ball, right? So like, but with I don't know, I haven't played golf, so I don't know. Like I've only been to a range. I
Hmm.
don't know if like the way you hit it or the club you use changes how the ball spins. I know obviously changes the power, but like with soccer, can't you like depending on your kick, you could even have it curve and to counteract like the wind. So I feel like there's a lot more variables in foot golf than there really are in regular golf.
Yeah, I play with people that toe poke the ball and they just get straight like a straight line. If you could get it like dead on to the center of the ball, but you could hit it certain part of the ball to get like more air to the ball, more power, or line drive it, which I see a lot of people are doing now.
Is
Um,
there a rule for like what part of your foot you have to use? Like,
I personally use the top of my foot, like where my laces are,
okay,
when I want to drive the ball. Um, like basically like the first kick.
yeah,
Um, because I want to get the most power on it, and I want to follow through. So when I'm following through, my hips is pointing the direction where I'm going. But like some people, like if you haven't played it, like the hips is really important. So like I can see myself like curving to the left or curving to the right, and that actually changes the trajectory of the ball. In golf, the hips and the torque you need to use a lot.
right.
um the torque is still there in foot golf. It's more of like your leg power. Your kicking power is basically right there. So your hamstrings, your glutes, your quad is all your leg is all working as one. um and then when you get closer to the hole, then I kind of switch it up to my inside of my foot. So kind of like my side foot, I'll make it seem like a pass. And then what I would do is like my plant foot, I will try to put it behind the ball, but towards to the left. And then with my regular foot, I just kind of like see where I'm going. It's like, okay, I'm gonna hit it at this power because I am this close or this far away, and then trying to hit it. Um, and hopefully it gets in. Sometimes I'll just miss the hole by inches, and it'll probably like it'll make me believe that it's going in, and then pop out. I was like, great. You know what I
So
mean?
is it when it was like, whoosh,
Yep.
yeah,
And that,
yeah,
yeah, and
yeah. That's always fun. I'm sure.
you go from shooting a par to a double bogey real quick
Right,
if you
right.
can get that. And that was basically that was my biggest concern. Now it's that mid game that when I'm hitting a 30 yards for an eagle, which I'm trying to get that closer, because if I can get that closer, that game changes for me. That I
So,
can start hitting eagles, which is a -2 from a par, and
right.
birdie is -1. Par you get like 0. So like you constantly hit like not even like
Doesn't
0.
it depend on the rules though? Like par, depending on the course, from what I know,
Not even the
is
course, it's the
par
hole.
could be two hits, right?
Yeah, Par could
And
be
then
3 to 5. It could be
oh,
6. Could be 2.
yeah, I was gonna ask about
Um,
that. Like, is a hole
I
in one
have
also
I
par?
hole in one's always there, but hole in one would never be a par.
Right.
And I have never seen a par for 2 hits.
Okay.
Um,
I mean that's just my
I'm
knowledge
just yeah,
from video game mini golf. So
yeah.
golf with
But
friends, everybody. Golf with friends.
par, I see a lot of par threes. I just never see anything lower than a par two.
Okay, okay. So
Um,
generally it's par three. You
yeah,
get it.
and I
Hit, get
see
a par, then an eagle.
birdie. A birdie will
Birdie.
be -1, and the hole one will be a hole one.
Right.
Eagle will only be if 4 and up.
Now we're just getting into golf. But
Well,
yeah,
it's
what
still
I
Footgolf. It's still Footgolf
yeah,
though.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Well, no, it's just like it demonstrates my ignorance on how it works. But my original question about like where you hit the ball with your foot, what I was asking was more like where at what point is it not okay for you, like what body part is it not okay to use to hit the ball with, or is that not a thing? Like if you use your knee to hit the ball, like you're just kind of like defeating yourself, so it doesn't really matter, nobody cares.
yeah,
Like
it's an individual. Like there is a team aspect of it, but it's mostly of an individual.
okay.
Like you wouldn't hit your knee. It's just basically you're using your body to follow through. But like
Uh-huh.
after the drive, depending on how far, if it's like a 200 yard from the kickoff to the tee to the hole, you're not gonna keep on driving it until like when I'm 50 yards. Then I'm gonna switch my laces, hitting with my laces to
Yeah.
hitting with my inside, where I have a little bit more control and I have to delegate the power.
Yeah. Well, I my point was, and it's kind of a ridiculous point, uh, that like I guess as a team you could say, hey, we should, at this distance we should kick it like this, or
Yeah.
like most, I would assume that most folk golf players are previously soccer players, or they have some soccer experience.
Yes.
So they're gonna kick with their feet, right?
Hmm.
And so like when you're doing like a putt,
Yeah.
right? And you were saying that people usually use their toes to kick it
Yeah.
in. Like to give an extreme example, nobody's gonna headbutt the ball, right? Nobody's gonna
No.
like
No. No. No.
dive at the ball and use their head to to get that
No.
putt. I
It
know.
would just
But
be
what I'm
just
asking,
putt.
is there any regulation? It's like, oh no, you can't hit it like that. Redo. Like,
Yes. Yes. Oh,
okay, all
so
right.
it wouldn't be.
That's
Okay. So yeah, that was. So it wouldn't be like so your the studs. So you can't use your sole of your foot. You can't like roll the ball.
can't use your soul.
Like
Okay.
yeah. So like basically like if I'm wearing
Oh, okay.
studs, like the
Yeah.
little plastic that's coming out on the bottom of my cleats. I can't like roll the ball when I'm putting because that it wouldn't be a redo. It would be a
It
they'll
will
add
count as
a
a
stroke
stroke.
on
Yeah.
top of it.
Of course, of course.
Um, and then there's a couple of little rules like if you're in the bunker. So normally you could run up to the ball. In the bunker, you can't run up, so you have to plant and then hit it out, and you can't scoop the ball. So you can't like put your foot under the ball and then like lift it.
Okay. Okay. Is a bunker like a sand pit or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Okay. So you have to do a standing kick.
yeah.
Damn, that's a handicap. So you gotta make sure to avoid that.
Exactly, and depending on like
I guess it makes sense that you can't run though, because then you're like kicking sand everywhere.
um, but so exactly it's so. But going back to like the whole folk off, like the history, like they had this is the 2018 was the third World Cup. So the first one was in Hungary in 2012,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then in 2016 they had the second in Argentina, and then they had it in Morocco in 18. So I don't know if they're trying to make it into every 4 years or every 2 years.
Right, because the
Because from
pattern so far.
2000,
Yeah.
yeah, from 2012 to 2006 is four, then 2006 to 2018 is only two. So I don't know. And then you have other tournaments like the Janssen Cup that you're trying to qualify for your country. Um, the World Cup, of course, the U.S. Open's individual, the national championship, it's individual and team. that's in Virginia in August. Um, what's it called? But like, so going for the league that I'm in, the American Footgolf League. Just imagine, basically, it's the Premier League or like the MLS of foot golf. It's the premier. So we have the 8 team system, um, and it's so we'll have at the national championship. We'll all compete each other's tops. Our 6 players or 4 players will compete, and we'll add up our team score of each people. Who have the lowest strokes will win. And then so that's so I'm trying to recruit people to play, learn about the sport, and hopefully we could compete as in the New York region. Um, a lot of people, so like playing foot golf, you have to be a little more. It's more seasoned. It's the weather has to be nice. You're not going to play in rain or cold. So in New York and New Jersey, the weather is not that nice until April.
I mean, same for golf, right?
Yeah,
You're
of course.
playing on golf courses, so.
But like some
Um,
of these teams are in California or Florida
mm,
that the weather is nice all
all
year
year.
long.
Yeah.
How can you compete? They could play every week in the year. While
Yeah,
I could play a certain amount.
that makes sense actually. That's quite a disadvantage. That I mean, that kind of ties into what we were talking about last episode, about athletes who live in high altitude, or like runners who live in high altitude places. Just like
Yes.
you live in the environment that lets that allows you to excel. Right.
Hmm.
Not to say that like, okay, well,
No, it's not like
there's a
it's
huge
either
unfair
that
advantage. It's like, well, that's where they live. And
exactly,
notice.
and that's where it is. It's either that I have to get better quicker, and or play more when
Yeah.
I do have the time. So instead of yeah, or move, yes. But like it's either I play twice a week, 3 times a week, or I play once a week and I play for the whole day.
Right.
And then just basically just keep on getting better, 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 and just do drills and putting, driving, keep basically having the same form multiple times, not getting tired of doing that, and
Wouldn't you
training.
say that? Wouldn't you say that like less hours, but on many days is better than doing like a
Yeah,
bunch of hours on one day? Because
yes,
I mean that
uh,
goes for anything really.
exactly. It's just basically I just making the point that I have to
Yeah, to
play,
compensate.
play. Yeah, to compensate, I have to play either equal the amount that they will be playing or more.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so like since this is sports so new, sponsorship is not there. Like the professional athletes, it's still not there because like NBC Golf is still trying to get this. Oh, the American Football League is trying to get NBC Golf to televise this. When that happens, that can actually start opening new doors to
Right. Well,
sponsorship.
I imagine if any organization is going to sponsor foot golf or try to make it prosper, it's going to be golf organizations
Yeah.
because um, the foot golf players are using the golf courses, right? So that's generating income for golf courses,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and people who play foot golf might decide like, hey, I'm already playing on a golf course. Why don't I give golf a shot, right? So it's a I don't want to say symbiotic, but like a mutually beneficial
No,
relationship. So,
it's very mutual relationship, very mutual realistic relationship because it goes hand to hand. Why not? You already have a golf course. Just make a golf course right next. Not even a golf course right next to it. Make it on the same hole. Just put the hole for foot golf towards to the right, so you
right.
don't mess up with the golfers. And generally speaking, like in a golf course, generally speaking, for a 18-hole course,
Do they?
if it's me and someone else, I could get that done within an hour, hour and a half. While regular golfers will get that done in 3 hours. It's a lot quicker.
Right. So that hole, right, the
Mm.
21-inch hole, if golfers are playing on a course that has those holes, do those holes just get plugged up with like turf?
Well, it they could do it that way,
So like they put
but
a cap on it or something?
they'll put a cap on it, or it depends on where they place it. So, like, if trade it, let's just say it's 100 yards, and at the end of that 100 yards, there's the golf hole.
Uh huh.
Now, let's just say that's the 100 yard mark. Let's just say we move that hole, not even move that hole, just goes to the right 25 yards to the right of it. You put that that foot golf hole.
Uh-huh.
No golfer's gonna go that way. Golfer's gonna hit the hole because the whole objective is to hit it in the fewer strokes as
And
possible.
yeah. So I mean, well, I don't know. I've never really played golf, so I don't know how precise everybody is as a golfer. But like,
Yeah, not like it. Yeah, you could have a bad hit. Don't get me wrong, but like you don't try to aim. It wouldn't be like just 25 yards. I'm just making it seem that like it's out of the way. You won't go out of
yeah.
your
I mean,
way.
25 yards is pretty far. So
There's a good chunk that you won't be like, oh, okay, it's over there. Like there's times like I'll shank the ball and it goes towards the left to the other hole. I'm like, fuck. And I got like finagle a shot that has to be in between two trees and hope for the best it doesn't hit a tree.
yeah.
You
You
know
ever
what I
hit a
mean?
tree?
I've hit a tree before. It wasn't fun. I got
Yeah, I
really
bet.
mad. I got
I'm
really
sure you
mad.
were like, fuck.
Yeah. And it was just like, cool. Um, no, so like basically like the whole like sport and how it is just very precise. It's very precision sport. And then focus, like the mentality and like having your legs just be healthy the whole time. Like this US Open, it's gonna be for me a 3 day course, 3 day event, 18 holes, and I had to keep my legs fresh as possible.
Do you do you like butt kicks and like just like high knees and stuff to just like warm up your legs or?
Yeah, like high kicks. I have like a roller, like muscle rollers to kind of like stretch out the muscles. I go for a stretch. Maybe the sauna the day before, kind of like, or lift up my legs before I go to bed. Kind of like
Sauna sounds like a great idea.
basically
I
just kind of keep it as fresh as possible.
yeah. Well, I actually read some research recently, and I don't know how true it is because again, whatever you find on the internet isn't automatically true. But I was talking to some coworkers yesterday about how I always stretch before and after my strength training workout. And one of my coworkers was saying that static stretches actually decrease the amount of muscle power
Hmm.
uh, that you have.
You have to use more
So
dynamic stretching.
dynamic one, yeah. So it's like movement, kind of like jumping jacks and like like I was saying, high knees, butt kicks, all that stuff. So I was gonna ask if you were doing static stretches, and like that might, according to the research, it might be affecting your muscle strength if you're doing static stretches before playing. Right.
Playing on this, like playing soccer my whole entire life, they have taught us do static always. And then they trying to get into the whole dynamic. I kind of like do a couple of jogs first, and then like do like high knees, high kicks, butt kicks, kind of like all that like routine stretches, like moving around, kind of like do like basically running, trashing, like kind of like that. And then like after like if I feel tight, like let's just say my glutes or my calves are so tight, then I'll do some static stretching because I'm already warmed up. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do more to tire me out. But also like warming up is supposed to be you warm up, not you're not tired for the event. So
Right.
like that's why they give me a little bit of a breather if I have that little static stretch in between from my warming up to the event when it starts. Um,
Um. When, but I feel like in soccer, right, people are less concerned with muscle strength, although I'm sure they would be, but like it's explosive muscle strength, so they're more concerned with preventing injury, I'm sure, than
yes, but
like
like
having like
it's
optimal.
but think about it. If you're not fit, you're not be running 90 minutes. Some of these players run 90 minutes and they're
No.
constantly
I'm saying
moving
like
around.
the value to the coaches, to the people who run the
Yes, it's
game.
about their health.
Like
Yes, yes.
exactly, it's about making sure they don't get injured. If they have like a minuscule decrease in the amount of muscle strength, so be it. Like they're already top athletes, and if the other
Yeah,
team's also doing it, so it's like whatever.
but with this is it's think about it like it. I know you haven't, but like I have. Like I played on an 18-hole course. I'll start getting like not tired, like fatigue. Maybe hole 14, hole 16, just because it's just like since I'm so new to the sport, I have not had. I should be training to that level.
Right.
So I
To
could
be out
just
there all day.
and out in the sun if it's a nice like if it's 80 sunny there's down on your body. You're playing, you're moving around, you're
Just want to
hitting
have
the
a
ball.
beer.
Yeah, but you can't do like on that, and especially you can't even do that. So, um, but like yeah, it's just in the sense of that it's hard. So like it's gonna be a new event. It's gonna be a new change for me, and hopefully I can show my goal. It's going to be 120 people at this U.S. Open.
Hmm.
If I could score reach goal top 25, I'll be static. Top 50, I'll be like, okay.
Top 25 out of a tourney?
Out of like the whole tournament, that whole tournament, if I could score top 25, I'll be actually pretty happy with myself. Since I only played for 2 years and I'm going against the number one in the world, like
Yeah, and you're also not practicing as often as them because, like you
yeah,
said, weather here is not optimal.
like exactly, and like these like top the number one in the world, and or like going back to Mateus Peron, he goes to a lot of these like big tournaments around the world. He travels, like he has sponsorships. He plays. He trains. He goes to these places while you have a guy from
So you
suburbia, New
it's not
York. Yeah, it's I have where I want to get there, and we actually have exchange messages on Instagram, Facebook, and he's a very great guy, very nice. Um,
most successful people are.
and that's really what it is. They're very humble, and it's a new sport. It's only going to catch up. With the American Footgolf League, there's the president, Roberto Balestrini, and he's also the president for the FIFG, the basically like the FIFA of footgolf.
Federal Interrate.
Federation for International Footgolf.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Um, so he's also a great guy. I actually do talk to him on a monthly basis, like once a month, see how's everything. He's also a really great guy.
What do you usually talk to them about? Like the state of affairs of foot golf, or like how your club's doing, or
He wants to know how the club is doing because New York and New Jersey area, basically the Northeast region, is such an untapped market because there's no clubs yet.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if
yeah.
we could get that into effect and people are playing and there's let's just say 50 legitimate good foot golfers can play,
Right.
it's good. It brings the tournaments can't be not just from the West Coast. Now it could be start being more on the East Coast now, and not just East Coast like Maryland and Miami. It could be in New York
Uh-huh.
and or Maine or New Jersey or Boston. That's where if you can
And
make it a year long thing, that's a great thing. Or not even a year long. Just have January and December and January the off seasons and start in February and you have the thing in Cali. You know what I mean? Like
Maine seems like it would be cold. I feel like the disadvantage that exists is very real in terms of like weather, right? It's like if hockey players tried to play in like Costa Rica or like Miami, Florida.
oh, with hockey players, they don't play outside; they play in
Yeah,
indoors.
true. They play in the rink, but
But like, you don't have like a soccer game playing in a thunderstorm. But like, it doesn't thunderstorm a lot. But like, it's just in the fact that like you don't want to like no one wants to be out in a 30-degree weather playing foot golf. No
yeah,
one's enjoyed the sport.
yeah, no one. It's like I mean you can't compare it, but when I'm playing video games with cold hands, it's like you feel frigid. You don't have very much loose control. It's kind of a weird saying, but like
But
fluidity
no,
of your
yeah,
body, right? Like if you're trying
like
to
you
do the
want
kick, you feel
you
tight.
don't want to be tight. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You want that muscle to be not like just fresh, but like just relax. You have to do multiple kicks. You have to do like maybe more than 20 big drives, more than 20, double of that probably.
yeah. However many
And
holes there are at least.
there's at least 18, and then you go from there. And like some of them are like not even just 100 yards. They're 200, 300 yards. That's three football fields, like two soccer. Like you mean like that's a lot of yardage that you need to kick.
You need to kick like 2 or 3 drives for that, right?
A good amount depending on the hills. It could be,
Yeah.
and then you have to get a good enough ball that like the ball has grip on the grass. Because if you're in on a hill, like you don't want that ball. If you're in it on an uphill, you don't want that ball to just basically roll back down.
Oh hell no.
and only moved 5 feet. So like you just
Yeah.
wasted a kick. Like you should have just like passed that at that point. And that has happened like a lot. And like I got this like really shitty ball, like a $5 ball.
Or you
And
just kick over the hill?
yeah, but like what happened? You didn't do enough power, or it curves to the left and just missed the top of the hill and then rolls back down.
And
Like
rolls to like a different side. Okay, yeah. That
but
would
like
suck.
I got like so like a lot of people the new balls like people get like these the World Cup from 2010 in South Africa like the Jabalami balls. Those are like prime balls to get because they have the groove so you could hit it and it could dip when you're hit in the air because it has the grooves and the grooves can have a better grip on the grass.
I
So like
imagine it's very different from a soccer ball.
yeah, so I have these. I got the World Cup from 2018, the in Russia. That one I have, and they work pretty well. I know people buy the speed cells or the Euro cells, and people
Wait,
can spend for this.
2018 Russia?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
You said
Okay.
okay. Yeah, yeah. You said Morocco. I didn't
No,
know.
no, just like the ball itself. I mean, like
Oh.
the soccer ball, like because it's soccer ball. So like I got that ball from the World Cup in 2018, like the soccer one, like the FIFA one.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. All
Yeah.
right. My bad, my bad.
So like the Footgolf is Morocco in 2018. Yes, you were right. But the summer one in Russia, that for soccer, I got that match ball that they use
Okay.
for me when I play Footgolf because you could bring your own ball to the tournaments.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Um, and your own cleats, of course, and whatever. And you have your gears. Um, or so yeah, it's like that whole like so like the U.S. Open, like I'm versing all these people, and it's just gonna be experience that I'm never gonna forget. It's gonna be my first. Like I did regional tournaments, I did fundraisers, I did just playing around with friends. But now it's on a actual beautiful course, going to Florida for a national tournament and playing with the best.
Wait, so
Playing with the
this is what you're doing next week?
not next week, the 22nd. So basically in 2 weeks.
Okay. All right.
And
Right, yeah, no, next week.
so basically now my job is trying to promote this sport. After this tournament, I want to try to have enough like content to start posting a lot more on social media, trying to promote this sport throughout the New York region, Long Island, New Jersey, upstate New York, and try to be just ready for the next big tournament in August for the national championship in Virginia or the national or the battles of the borders where Team USA is going to get Team Mexico and that's in November and that's also the team competition where my club Skyline Foot Golf Club will be against the big ones like Miami, Maryland. Those are the East Coast, Michigan, can't not Kansas City, Canyon City, and some clubs out in Oakland and in Cali. There's like 4 or 5 clubs in California, and they have top players that represent the not even current U.S. national players that played in the World Cup for multiple times. The buddy that I play with he represented the American team last year in the World Cup, and playing with him, it's fun because that's the bar that I need to be at, and I am giving him his run for his money.
Right.
So I just need to compete in these levels now better than I can. And then if I have more confidence and more capital, I can push and try to play more and more and more. So
Well, is your aim not only to play, but like to like run the club itself and just promote it? Like, wh- where's your priority, I guess? Or
so priority, I think I kind of like I always want to be like a professional. Like before when I was young, it's soccer.
hmm?
Um, Now I'm getting older. I can't run as much. I'm not like my like, ACL is kind of like no, because I tore it like a couple of years back. So now this is like a new sport that I kind of like fell in love with, and I go outside and I play this. It's like this weight's lifted. It's like a new sport. It's new. Like everything is new. It's relaxing. It's a beautiful day. You just kick from the ball from A to B, and that's it. There's no running. There's the only you only beat yourself. You don't. Oh, I beat you. No, you outdid yourself from what you did before, and it's all about mental. And yes, there is physical. You're actually kicking the ball, but like it's not like I'm not going against someone trying to go body to body with that. No, it's all about mentality. It's all about that mental focus, that mental strength for hole 1 to hole 18 in multiple days.
Right.
Um,
Maintain that sort of endurance.
yeah.
I think this is a perfect place for you to do plugs, though. You know, like this podcast in general, and right now, if you want, like your Instagram page for Footgolf, if you have a Facebook page up, whatever. Like, and
Which
obviously, I'll put it in the show notes. Um, but
I
yeah,
have I have it on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I have my own website. Um, so
Foot,
well,
this is
it's just
Skyline Footgolf, Skyline
yeah,
Footgolf.
like Skyline. It's one word, and then fuck off.
Okay.
And then if you look up, but it's also linked up with my other club with Long Island. Look up, but it's on the website. It's www.lifootgolf.com. And then Skyline will be in the tab because it's kind of like how I want to do it is Skyline's the premier club in the region, and there's going to be multiple feeder clubs. So more social, like local clubs, and we'll do like a Skyline tournament or like the New York tournament, and then all these small local clubs from Syracuse, Rochester, Buffalo, Albany, Long Island, New York City play in this big tournament, and those players, top players, will represent Skyline, and then go into more the national ones. Um, that's the main goal that I want for Skyline. The more Long Island's more the fact of promoting the sport on the Long Island area and New York City if they can push for the boroughs like Queens and Brooklyn more, and just host like events for like the NYPD, FDNY, corrections, organizations, like big organizations like where I currently work at, or just like other small events, team bonding events for college and high school, raise money for New Jerseys, or team bonding for college so they bond better, that chemistry can build, or legitimate like a friend gathering. You have 6 people, you want to play. And if you want to do like a birthday event, you want me to host the event and try and organize everything, by all means. That's the whole point of it, trying to just promote the club
Yeah.
promote the club and sport, mostly for the sport. Um, but for me, it's just
Yeah, and
basically,
like whoever really gets into it, could
yeah,
end
exactly,
up just like, hey, Skyline is a premier club. Maybe give it a shot.
exactly.
How did
Um,
you come up with the name of Skyline?
so Skyline is one of my buddy Alberico. He's in New Jersey, and we were trying to think of a name. We didn't want to be like New Jersey, New York Club, like
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
redundant and too long, or NYNJ Club. No. So we were thinking about like, okay, what's in between the us two? Like we were thinking about Empire or Liberty. It's like great, great. You know what I mean? Like those are like it could be a thing. People could actually catch on and be like, oh, Liberty, 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 or it's but be like Skyline. Like I can
Well, it's
look at
also
it like
very New York-ish
yeah. And
vibe,
like
right?
New Jersey's right there. It's not like it's far away. And New Jersey go to New York. It's not a far drive.
Yeah.
Um, but like New Jersey, like in the Hoboken by the water, like if when you're by the water, you see that New York skyline. And New York, like Queens and Brooklyn, you see that skyline in New York, the New York City. So why not? So that's how we created it. Um, the Long Island Club, since I'm on the island, I've been on here for my whole entire life. So that's what's the Long Island one, and I think that would be hit because not a lot of people know it. So it's only gonna grow if I keep on pushing and that dedication, putting time into it. Um, but for me, the goal as a player, kind of play this because this I could play until like I'm in my 50s, 60s.
Right. Yeah.
It's a long career that I can play for, and that's That's what matters the most. That you can play and be a role model to new kids, new players, new amateur players that want to be where you are at.
And you learn a lot from teaching others.
Exactly.
Learn a lot about yourself. So.
Um, but like that's why like I'm playing like people around in England, Argentina. I think there's over like 26 countries going to this tournament. Over 120. It's going to be a new experience, and I just can't wait. Now it's just like I'm having the jitters, and hopefully that can be a great thing. Um, it just now just preparing myself and working on it. Do you have any more questions?
Right now, I was just thinking about what you said uh, about like something you could play for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And you can compete. And unfortunately, I wasn't thinking about foot golf. I was thinking about like, man, I really want to start doing jujitsu because like I've been wanting to do it since college, and I know it has nothing to do with foot golf, nothing to do with this episode, but I
Hmm.
just started to think about it. But
Well, a lot of people have it's just like you turn to a hobby. As right now, this is the hobby,
yeah,
and
yeah,
this can be a legitimate thing for me, and I can be a really good player, and I can compete at a national or international level. So be it, and I would love to do that. Um, but yeah, I have not much to say about foot golf as a whole, besides give it a try. There's a lot of places in all basically in countries. Just look it up. Look up foot golf courses near me, or if you're in a different country or you're in anything, look it up and see if you have a foot golf course. If not, give it a try. I know there's a Japanese club. There's a Japanese foot golf league there.
really.
There's one in Canada. There's one in America. There's in Italy, like all over Europe. Some part in Africa and also in Asia and Australia.
Hmm. So I mean, it's just expanding, expanding, expanding
It's
globally.
only gonna grow. It's
Yeah, yeah.
only gonna grow. And there's others like smaller leagues are coming, like the Player Foot Golf Tour, that's bringing it up because they want that be more of local, more
So
amateur base.
where do you think the next leagues are going to develop, right? Because you said there are teams in Mexico, there's teams on the West Coast, there's teams on the southern parts of the U.S., right? That's Maryland.
Well, there's merit like so. Basically, the next thing is each state have their own foot golf club,
Okay,
like their own team,
right.
or kind of like how like the MOS. There's like 20 teams in there competing, and that's what it is, or it's legitimate, just individuals. Um, but the team it brings that team aspect, and a lot of people do like representing their teams or watching it.
Uh-huh.
That can be whatever. That can be either or. The Olympics, like
That seems so
20,
interesting to me, like because golf itself isn't a team sport, right? I mean, it's everybody
it's
has
everyone against
themselves.
everyone, but like I think they had like a World Cup, but like countries competing against each other. Um, like they have to have something like that. I look at it. World Cup of Golf, the PGA Tour, they do have it in Australia,
Huh.
and that's if I'm correct. World champion was
In Melbourne.
a double. Yeah, Belgium won it the last time,
Okay.
and that like right here countries that compete in that it lists over 15, 20 countries. Like USA was there, and I think and they have all these players playing, and
Okay. Well, I was just thinking about like the team bonding experience, right? So like what you're saying earlier about team building and making sure everybody is like on the same wavelength or whatever. But I guess for a sport like foot golf, it's like it's you and the cup. Like
yeah.
there's no there's no like, oh, I got to deal with like how this person is, or like like somebody
Well,
who's a superstar or whatever. It's like everybody has the same objective and they
yes.
have to do the same thing. So
Um, yeah, because like I'm like, but you're also like you're not just playing like if on the same hole, you and maybe three other people is going to be hitting at the same hole,
mhm.
and But like if you're versing, like let's just say if I go and I'm versing, let's just say Ben Clark or Mateus Peron, like those two, I don't keep on saying because those are the top players that I could think of. There are other more, but like those two I've been like following a lot more because I like their style or how they read the course and what they do. Um, but like make believe I have them and they make a shot. Like let's just say there's a hole in one. I have to make a hole in one if I want to be right there. Or if I get a birdie, next time I have to beat him in the next round in the next
Right.
hole.
So you got to get the hole in one, and he's got to get the birdie or less. Right.
Yes. Or he gets the par and I get the hole in one. I'm beating him then at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
So like yeah, that gives you that little extra like competitiveness because you're rushing these people and seeing like okay, he did this. I need to do this now. And you got to see how your ability can compete. And you could legitimately just shinking the pressure can overcome you.
Well, there's also a lot of other variables. I mean,
Yes,
your body's makeup is different. Your height is different. Your weight is different.
exactly.
So, like, you could try to follow whatever he's doing, but you got to adapt it to yourself.
Mm-hmm. You have to worry about your game. I think that's my advice to newcomers.
I think that's a good philosophy to have in not only all sports, but like
Just in general.
yeah.
Just worry about yourself. Everything else will come. If you want to worry about other people, you will get distracted. Like I did this fundraiser and I versed the people who were in my group were all ex national players, and this is my second year playing. These guys have been playing for more than 2 years, more than 5 years playing. They played in all over around the world, and going against them. The guy got a hole in one. I didn't know about getting a hole in one. If I got a hole in one, great. You know what I mean? Right. It was more in the fact that like I got placed down on the tee. I looked up. That's the hole. Okay, there's a hill. Let me aim for that hill. I think that will be my best shot, and get the closest possible. I got a birdie on a bunch of holes that they got pars in. I was I was giving them a run for their money, but like the guy who won the fundraiser at nearest to the last like 6 holes, he was getting a lot better than the rest of us. He was getting eagles and not hole ones, but more eagles and birdies, while everyone else was just getting pars. And those add up. And then in that fundraiser, he got a -14, while everyone else got -5 and 6. And
wait. Oh.
So basically, let's just say par
I lost what the meaning behind par and eagle and birdie, whatever.
So par, it means that you got like you equal to how many strokes that the average would get.
Right. So okay, so on average it's 3, right? 3.
Let's just say 3.
Get it on 2 strokes. That's birdie.
That's a birdie. Birdie is -1.
Eagle, but it's also 1.
So hole in one is hole in one. Right. Eagle will only come to play if the par is a 4-stroke.
Okay.
Or more.
Yeah. All right.
So, but like after that, like how you scale it, it's like, oh, my score was 70. No, it's minus or plus.
Right.
From 0. 0 means that you got the par on that course, on the whole course as a whole. Yeah. So if people can score minus, so -14, that's a fantastic score to have. So that means that you scored 14. So if it's 70
points below par for all.
Yes.
18. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's basically what it is.
So it's the one sport where the less points you have, the better.
Yep.
Okay.
So.
All right, that's cool. Well, I mean, we did talk about it for a while. It's been like what, 40, 50, almost 50 minutes. So if there's anything else you want to talk about, Footgolf, bring up?
Well, we have to edit that part. And this part.
Edit
but
what part?
I'll explain it.
All right, yeah.
But what's it called? No, I think that's it. Just basically for the next episode, I think we should talk about like either going up. No, I think we're done. Let's cut that whole part out.
Okay. Yeah, we'll cut that out. So this episode was about foot golf. What Angela's doing again, Skyline Foot Golf and Long Island Foot Golf Club. I'm getting that
Yep.
right. Uh, www.lifootgolf.com
Hmm.
is Angela's club, and if you're at all interested, definitely go and check out the website, um, and see if there's
Give us a
club
follow.
in your area. Or, yeah, absolutely.
If you're not nearby and you're listening, check out a local course. Give it a shot.
All right, so that's our episode on foot golf. Next up, I was thinking about making not a huge dramatic shift, but talking about language. And this is something that's always been very important to me, or very interesting to me, I guess. As I talked about in the first episode, I'm currently living in Japan. Um, I speak Japanese fluently, and I also speak Spanish because my mother is Latina. So I grew up speaking English and Spanish, and now speaking Japanese. And I've learned a couple of languages along the way, but not really into them as much as Japanese or Spanish. So, uh, but the main reason I want to talk about this kind of thing is that I've always been fascinated by how human beings can communicate with each other and the way language changes the context of what you're saying to each other. And another really fascinating thing to me is when two partners both know, like speaking partners, when you both know two different languages, you can actually speak in those two different languages at the same time, right? Just like mixing words into the sentences because it becomes easier to communicate that way. Um, and so it's easier to say a, a concept. It's easier to explain something in one language rather than the other. And so I thought I would talk about language and the techniques I've used to learn Japanese and for language learning in general. And Angelo, I know obviously you speak Italian as well.
Mhm.
So if you have any points on what it's like to grow up bilingual, now's the time.
Well, bilingual. We could talk about more. My parents are both Italians, basically straight from the boat, first gen American. But just growing up, basically coming home from school, talking English all day, and then you're making that transition from English to Italian. It's a big shift, and it's important because it brings your family closer. So I was able to communicate with my dad, and that's like I feel like the communication's key in family or friends. I could talk to my family in Italy now. I could go to Italy by myself. I don't have to
Right.
worry about like, hey, Dad, come with me because I don't know Italian. No,
Yeah.
I understand Italian that I could get from New York to Palermo or Rome and Milano and be there by myself and travel and be like, hey, sorry, sir, or ma'am, can I go to the bathroom? Or not can I, but like just on the fact like, hey, do you know where this bus station is or where this
Yeah.
train station is? Oh, can I book in the registration? Can I for a hotel? Can I get a room? Is there a room available? It's the communication is key when you go from outside from America or England English speaking country, and then he goes to a totally different language,
Yeah.
and it's fascinating.
I'm jealous,
So,
because like I don't speak Spanish as much, and the only people I speak Spanish with really are my mother and her side of the family. So,
hmm,
uh, trying to get back into that because I definitely love to travel, in South America and Central America,
hmm,
just to see more of the world. Travel is
exactly,
always great. You meet
yeah,
such interesting people, no matter where you go. Um,
exactly. But
so, all right, that's what we're going to talk about next episode. Again, if you have any comments, if you have reviews for us, tell us we're shitty. But it would be awesome if you could tell us why we're shitty, and if you think we're great, we'd love that too. To
and
counteract
why
shitty reviews, yeah, and why you think we're good. Obviously, yes,
we
uh,
want to be better. This is our
yeah. I mean,
fourth episode,
fourth episode. Yeah, it's our fourth episode.
so we want to learn. Yeah, we have. It's just a learning curve for us. So just let us know what we need to do, how to get better.
Yeah, yeah. All we need to do is always iterate and understand what people.
Or also what you guys want us to talk about. If we
Yeah.
know the topic, or if you get emails like, "Hey, talk about like not the weather or how the weather can affect someone's like feelings," I'll be like, I don't know much about that field, but we could do something like that, or talk about like culture, or talk about culture, or like history, or or like travel. Like, yeah, it's a little bit more on our speed, and we kind of can talk about it,
Yeah.
or more about sports in depth about something like football, soccer, or video gaming, like esport, as like how that came about as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
We would love to talk about how we want to know what you guys like, or like how we are working on this or growing. We want to grow.
Yeah.
Any feedback is great, not just, hey, you guys are great. Great, thank you. I like the positivity, but why?
Yeah.
Or, hey, you guys are
What was
shitty.
uh,
Crap, but
yeah.
why?
You guys are shitty. Talk about this, or you talk in circles, or there's too many pauses, or it's not very structured. Whatever it is, please just we'd love to hear from you, and
Mm-hmm.
we really want, like Angela said, we really want to grow this podcast.
Yeah.
Something
So,
great.
thank you guys for listening at the A&E show, and
Yeah, email
stay
us
tuned.
at the A&E show. We couldn't get the regular email address, so it's TheANDSHO. There's no W at gmail.com. And you know what? I think we should come up with a different name for the podcast. I'm gonna throw you a few uh, candidates, and that way, like if we, maybe we could change the email too. It'd be a lot easier for people to email us and understand
Yeah.
like what the show.
Mhm. So, um,
You know what? I think I'll do that. Or whatever. We'll just cut that part out. Thanks everybody for listening. Angela, this has been a great podcast. Thanks for talking to us about foot golf and your clubs. I wish you nothing but the best.
thank you.
Love and for the sport in general.
No, I appreciate that. Hopefully everything works out. Guys, thank you for listening again. Um, Stay tuned for next week.
Right. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.